Okay, so today we're talking about downloads and installs. So anybody who has worked with apps before, I'm looking down because I'm opening my app store so I can show you, notice this weird thing, right? Because if you go to App Store Connect, you are going to see there downloads, right? So total downloads, first time downloads, re-downloads, whatever. And that's how we think about acquisition, right? How many downloads can I get? Awesome. So you start with that, you're only doing organic and some social, maybe PR, etc. Then you get more mature and start running ads. And then with ads, the MMPs are going to come. So that's the mobile measurement platforms like Adjust, AppsFlyer, Branch, etc. And interesting enough, if you go there, you're going to see installs. And then the first reaction of people that start using MMPs is to compare the data, right? Which is not a mistake, but something that you should do with a pinch of salt, right? Because if you open your App Store Connect and your, let's say, AppsFlyer side to side, and you compare the downloads you see here with the installs that you see there, the numbers will not match. What the heck? And then it's funny because that leads to so many problems and so many bad decisions, but it's actually just a matter of understanding what you're looking at and just adapting to the situation, right? So let me just explain the difference very quickly. So let me go to my app store, right? Let's pick anything here. DiCaprio. Okay, so there's this app, right? If I click here, this is a download, right? So now it is, let me just log in. Okay, now it is downloading, right? Nice. Okay, so this is what you see as a download on the App Store. Very simple. Okay, good. So it's now downloading, great. Now think about it, right? Think about it. You are now on the App Store. The only company who has data about this is Apple, right? So AppsFlyer, Adjust, whatever, they don't know about this. They don't know that you downloaded this app. Because how they track this is that they have the SDK, which is like a snippet of code that is installed inside your app. So what will happen is the following. You click on open now, right? Now you open the app, right? Not going to allow. Okay, so now I'm in. Fine. When I open this app for the first time, now AppsFlyer are going to say, okay, so we have a new user, and that counts as an install. Okay, and that's where some of the discrepancies might come from. So, for example, I downloaded the app yesterday, but I only opened for the first time the day after that. So you're going to see that download one day on Apple and then the day following that on AppsFlyer. And if you do that on a large scale, then of course you're going to have some discrepancies, right? Because of the time that takes from people between the download and the install, right? So okay, so Romulo is telling me that a download is when the user downloads the app on the store, and an install when the user opens the app for the first time. Yes, but there's more. So the second thing is that, because of IDFA and ASCAN and all the other stuff, AppsFlyer has its own limitation on how to track its data. Not only AppsFlyer, okay? Any of these SDKs, basically. Then, for example, one of the rules that they have is that, after 6 months, they can't track that device anymore. So what is going to happen is, for example, I just opened this app for the first time. So I'm counted as a download, as an install on the same day, great. But if I never open this app anymore, and then I open it again in 7 months from now, when I open the app on AppsFlyer, I'm going to be counted as a new install again from organic because I just opened it. And then if you go to App Store Connect, it's going to be that install is not going to be there because it was already done 7 months ago. So see there, so that discrepancy tends to get really big depending on how mature your company is. Why is that? Because if you already have millions of users, what's going to happen is the moment that you install the MMP, anyone who opens the app will be counted as a new user, right? So that the first thing that you're going to notice is that you're going to, when you first install an SDK, an MMP, there's going to be a spike of users. Why is that? Because they are counting all the new installs, but they're also counting everybody who's just active on the app, but just the MMP didn't know about them. Now they do, because they are installed and now they have the tracking, right? So what happens with the MMP is that on the beginning you have a huge volume, and then that tends to fade away because now they know who your users are. So when they come back, they already know, okay, so this device, oh, it's Romulo again. So it's cool. We don't have to count him as new again because we already know his device. So that's where the discrepancy comes from. And then a huge problem that I see, especially marketers, is that they're going to open AppsFlyer for the first time. They're going to look at the number. It will not make sense because it shouldn't. It shouldn't, right? Because the MMP, again, is tracking new and returning users both as new. So this is going to be inflated. And again, going to look at it and say, oh, this doesn't make sense. This tool sucks. I'm going to just hire a different tool and set it up again, right? And then they're going to do that. And it's an infinite loop because every time that you install a new SDK, you're going to have the same problem, right? So that's the most common mistake. The second common mistake is just the implementation itself sometimes is wrong. So for example, again, the way that they track these installations is on the first open. And then a big mistake that I see, then it's mostly on the technical side, is that sometimes you're not triggering the SDK on the right moment. So for example, some companies, they only start the SDK after the login. And then anybody who didn't log in is not going to appear on your MMP. Again, then people again are going to blame the tool. Oh, this tool sucks. Let's fire them and hire this. I went to this event and these guys told me that they have the best possible attribution when it's really about your own tracking. So before making these decisions, like let's switch tools, first, understand what you're looking at and be okay with the fact that the data will not match. This will not match. It shouldn't. If it's matching, it's wrong, right? It shouldn't match. So first of all, be okay with that. Understand what you're tracking. After that, if it still really doesn't make sense, no harm, I still see numbers floating around, doesn't make any sense, my app is new, so the number shouldn't be that different, fine. Then the next step is to really dig into your integration. And then if your team is really in doubt, then just call your account manager. Jump in on a call with their engineers, look at your code together and figure it out. But just don't blame the tool and say that this doesn't work. Okay? So I hope that I saved you now with this video months of back and forth, or money, stress, unnecessary discussions. So you can do your good work. That was it for today. I hope that was helpful. See you later.